Oh, we are currently live on Twitch, YouTube, and Periscope.
Jeez, Periscope's still a thing.
I can't believe it either, really.
Yeah, good for
I
them.
never check it. I have no idea our analytics. I don't know anything that's going on right now on Periscope. I barely even check our YouTube, but right now we are live on Facebook.
What up, Facebook?
Oh, I burped again. Get out of there. Hello, everybody. This is Travis Clyburn with the Fourth Wall After Hours podcast, as always. And then, of course, we have a fantastic guest today, guys. Please welcome Alex Caine.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
A.K.A. Alex. Alex Payne.
Yeah, that's what Travis now calls me.
I now call him Alex Payne, because I think it sounds cool.
It is a cool name. It's like my wrestler name.
Yeah, and I'm hoping it catches on, if we're being perfectly honest.
I mean, you can hope what you want. I'm still waiting for cocaine to catch on.
Yeah.
Or just Caine. Caine would be great.
Just Caine?
Caine's a good name.
Yeah, I mean, that's, the first murderer.
Oh, yeah. No, that's why I want it.
Oh, yeah. That's Old Testament, right?
That's like Old Testament first murderer. Yeah.
Right, yeah. OG. Wasn't this whole thing like he was marked and then forced to roam the earth forever?
Sure. I don't.
You don't know?
Yeah, I don't know what happens after he murders his brother, because I was like, oh, that's my namesake. That's good.
And that's your surname. So, are you descendants of the first murderer?
No, we're actually Jews, and our last name was Cohen. So when we came over, when we came over after Holocaust shit, Ellis Island was like, no, your name's too Jewy. We can't take you in. What about Caine? And they were like, sure, we'll do that. We need homes.
I love how many people have last names just because some weird racist dude at Ellis Island was like, no.
Oh my God, so many people's names.
Johnson and fucking any Johnson.
Pretty much.
Any Johnson, any Jones. You probably don't, well, maybe not all the Joneses, but definitely all the Johnsons.
There's a lot of like random Jews with like names like just Gold, like just something like that, and it used to be like Golden Schlackenberg.
Yeah,
and they were like, less German in the name. We need to get rid of that.
Well, especially when everybody fled from fucking Germany back in World War II and even World War One. Like, yeah, I imagine there was a lot of.
There's always been a lot of hate towards the Jews in that kind of way. Like, this is the nicest time for Jews in existence, and there's an entire subcontinent that's trying to wipe us off the face of the earth. Like
which one's trying to do it now?
The Middle East. Like they.
Oh yeah, they don't care.
No offense to any Middle Eastern people, but their governments don't like us. Like that's just how it works. And like,
no, it's very true. That's why I love that Sacha Baron Cohen does Bullrat, and because he's like the Kazakhstan and places like that firmly believe all the horrible shit that he says.
I mean, I have no idea what an actual Kazakhstani person believes, but I know they're like not well versed in what Jews are. Like,
like people that still believe like that you got some horns under your hat.
I've met American people who think that horns grow under the yarmulkes. That like,
really?
Oh yeah, they're just some ignorant fucking people out there.
That's fair. That is very fair. And I mean, and it's sad because it's like I feel like the dudes marching with the tiki torches are like a step above some of the fucking crazy racists that are out there, which is sad.
I really hate the dudes that march with tiki torches, don't get me wrong, but I am confident they're doing it for attention. The real people I worry about don't talk about it.
Oh yeah, the people that like make these like anonymous long YouTube videos about how Jews definitely did 9/11 and stuff like that.
Those are my favorite conspiracy theories. Like the Jews did 9/11. Like,
dude, there's hundreds of videos.
Yeah, we have a home that's not trying to kick us out for the first time in a millennia. Like, why are we going to attack our own city?
Dude, I don't know.
I just don't get it.
It's pretty crazy. You are right. Do you think this is the best time of the Jew?
I mean, I wasn't around in the 1300s, but like they didn't let us. Like the reason Jews are known for money is because they forced Jews to touch money, because you were like in the like English and Germanic like Christianity, you're not allowed to touch money on Sundays. So they'd make Jews be the accountants.
Really?
And then anytime anything went missing, they would kill their accountant.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it was a very common practice.
Wow, I had no idea.
Oh, yeah. And like, I mean, the Spanish Inquisition was getting rid of the Jews. The Crusades involved getting rid of the Jews. Like,
and Muslims. We didn't like that.
And the Muslims. Yeah,
that was a little pagan action too.
There's a whole lot in the Crusades. I'm not.
Oh, yeah, Crusades.
But it's kind of like the same way the Holocaust was not just the Jews. Like, it definitely wasn't. And so many other people were greatly affected by that. But we only give Holocaust memorial stuff to Jews.
Yeah, I actually had it was Hispanic. It was a Lyft driver who was like, we were talking about history and stuff. I don't know how we even got on the fucking subject because, of course, I'm talking about history with the Lyft driver. Well, because we were talking about the origins of Worth Your Salt. I had no fucking idea. And he was talking about Rome and blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. And then he started defending Hitler a lot.
Oh, good.
And I was
that's the job of Uber drivers, though.
And then like as he's dropping me off here at Fourth Wall, he's he never acknowledged that that they killed any Jewish people. He just kept saying it wasn't all about the black at first. It was. I was like, there was pretty much no black people in Germany, but they did kill.
It was definitely about the gypsies first.
For sure,
that was that's like
it was getting the poor out of the way.
Yeah, it was getting the poor and finding a scapegoat. That's really all it was, and. They did it, and it's not the first or the last time that's happened.
Oh yeah,
in the past 100 years, it's just what people do, which is horrifying that this happened. But now we're just talking about the Holocaust.
Yeah, we're right back on Holocaust talk.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about it.
I don't even know. I intended to ask you no questions about being Jewish, and here we are.
I mean, everyone does it. It just somehow I just become the Jew everyone needs to ask their questions. I bring it up. I'm pretty sure it's me.
A little bit. Yeah, I must say, because it's like most comics in LA are Jewish, I guess.
Oh, so many.
And like I think me and you talk about the fact that you're Jewish more often than but I get it, because you were raised in a town where what did you say? You referred to?
I was the Jew most of the time growing up. Like most of my friend groups just referred to me as the Jew. I had some other friend groups, and they didn't refer to me as the Jew, obviously.
Right.
But like a heavy majority of them did. And then for a good part of growing up, like in El Paso, I was the only Jew where I was.
Okay, so do you think that like maybe that particular thing has been ingrained so deep onto your identity because it was just one of those things that made you stand out, thus making you a target?
Yes, it was not the only thing, but it was a big major part of things that people would like bully me for, and it was also the only identifying factor about me very heavily at many times because, I mean, look at me. I'm a very generic person. And I don't mean that in any bad way. Just like when someone would give me something, I wanted to be known. That's why I do comedy stuff.
Oh, right.
So like as much as I didn't like that my friend groups called me the Jew, at least they were talking to me. Like that's all was going through with my like head at the time.
I get that. I get like growing up a fat kid.
And I was fat too, but
you've lost. I wanted to talk to you about that a lot here on this podcast in particular. Other than that Jew stuff, you know what I mean? No,
but that Jew stuff.
You lost 40 pounds, right?
50.
50. God
50
damn.
Now. Yeah.
I was one of the only people that complimented him to his face.
Yeah, that is very true. He was, I think, the first person to actively recognize it.
You know, it's one of those things where I'm just so aware of it because I spent the last 7 years fluctuating up and down in weight and like I never got anywhere near as big as I used to be. So in other words, in order to do that, when you get all the way up to 370, which is what my heaviest weight was, you have to fucking think about weight all the time.
370 is not where I was.
Yeah, so. What's your heaviest?
My heaviest is 280, I want to say.
Okay.
But I haven't been 280. That was when I was like, okay, time to lose weight the first time.
Oh, okay.
And then I packed on a lot since I lived in New York. Like, I just never took care of myself. And, like, time flew by a little bit, but I realized it was 3 years. And, like, I got on a scale, and I was, like, at 243. And I was like, oh, God, that is too big for me.
Right.
Like 243, like it's not like a crazy weight, but I'm 5'10" on a good day.
Right.
And I'm wide, so it doesn't show as much, but like I had a belly that was just
right.
I couldn't fit in my shirts. My
usually
pants
when you're
were
in
tight.
your 240s, it's like it doesn't look as good unless you've got like bigger arms or shoulders. Or
yeah,
like that,
and
right?
I have I have a wide set of shoulders, but they're not like I don't look like a box. You know what I mean? I'm not a refrigerator.
Yeah, because I'm 235, and I like that's why it all holds well just because of these freakishly large arms.
Yeah,
but
you got a big torso, and you're also like got 3-4 inches on me, something like that.
2 inches, I think. I'm 6 foot, but yeah. So then, and I've got so much head weight.
Yeah, you do have a giant head.
Yeah, we were talking about this before we went live. Yeah, it's Every time I do a podcast, especially I did one with Erickson the other day, like I have the biggest fucking head, dude. It's so big.
Well, that kid has a cartoonishly small everything.
Including penis. Ow!
I haven't seen it, but you live with him, so.
Yeah, I know. No, I'm sure his penis is fine. I'm just going to say that for the record, not that
I'm not saying it for the record. I bet he has a fucked up penis, Erickson. I'm calling you out.
He does have that bit about how it's super thin, or a girl told him it was super thin, like Twizzler wise. And I'm like, well, that's the worst way. Like
a Twizzler?
Even if you're rocking a 3, as long as you got like a wide, you can at least do some damage. But you're rocking a thin penis.
If it's a Twizzler, at least it's like ribbed for pleasure.
Maybe it's twirly.
God, that's fucked up.
But
yeah, I lost a lot of weight, and I like,
thank you for bringing that back.
I like compliments, so I want people to know.
Yes, and he looks fantastic. By the way,
you
were much chubbier, and you look fantastic now.
My
by the way,
shirt's fit.
Yeah, I know, right? And by the way, I really enjoyed the shirt you're wearing right now.
Yes.
I thought it was a superhero thing, and then I was
not.
let down because it's not, right?
Yeah, it is a laundry company from where I lived in Missouri that makes a really cool shirt, and they're like really eco-friendly. Yeah. I don't know how that works. I don't know how laundry machines work. So
I see a lot of those here in LA, just as like green laundry or whatever, and I'm like, I don't know how you.
This was like the green laundry though for like the state of Missouri, not just.
Oh, I
like,
believe that firmly
because it's Missouri. Like we have maybe one or two.
Yeah, I got some family in the white trash part of St. Louis, which is most of St. Louis.
Which is the good majority of St. Louis.
It's not black, yeah, pretty much, which is a sad fact.
There's some suburbs in St. Louis that are beautiful, but St. Louis is a city people need to pay a little more attention to.
Oh yeah, no, oh yeah, for sure, especially because it's like. It's fucked up because it's like the reason they had a lot of their problems around Ferguson and stuff like that. All the white trash people become cops there.
Yes.
None of the black people become cops there. And so now you've got the idiots from the trailer policing inner city people.
Well, like, and this is something
I'm
super passionate about. Like, they treat cops like shit in those kind of places.
It's true.
Like, you go mid-Missouri and the cops are treated so badly that they're gonna act out because nobody worth a damn wants to do it anymore.
It's true. And that's why you get the white trash people from the trailers, like, policing inner city black kids.
Like, you force the people who grew up with little to no education and money and social well-being. And you're like, here's a gun.
Are you the one with the fucking bit about how 2 classes at UCB?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, that's what I thought. I don't want to burn the bit, but
it's
I
will say this happily. 4 classes at UCB is more expensive than going to police academy in the state of California.
Yeah, 150%.
It's not like even. It's like a couple thousand to go to police academy. It's can take
really
it as night school.
Fucking easy to become a cop too. Like, of course, there's like, well, in a lot of states don't even have the same mental requirements and stuff.
No.
Or I know in New York, Chicago, and stuff like that. Like, you have to be have a pretty rigorous psych evaluation and stuff like that. But well,
depends on who's giving you the psych eval.
That's a good point. But I know that a lot of places it's just like. You
show
up, go up, man.
Go up.
You pay the money, you fucking get the gun.
That's it.
Go be a cop now.
We need cops in this country, and there's not a lot of jobs for them. Like there are problems. You might have to live in a shitty city for a while, but if you have a passionate desire to do good, the best thing you can do is go be a cop and protect the people who need it the most.
It is true. Yeah, and it's interesting where they push funding and stuff like that. Like, I know my hometown, we got a lot of really great cops, but at the same time, we have such an aggressive heroin problem that I wonder where the fuck they're dedicating all the resources to. And it worries me sometimes because it's like, I know the people personally. I know a lot of these cops in New Lebanon, where I'm from, have been to my comedy shows.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they're cool, great fucking people. Never had any problems with them. Incredible people. But I just don't understand how that town could be so shit without them. Like, I don't know if it's maybe I know the chief's a dick, at least from what I hear. I don't know him personally, so my apologies if you're not a dick. And also,
Chief, if you're great, thank you for doing the best.
I'm probably not gonna be back in my hometown for years, but so I'm not worried about it.
It's just lack of funding in every level. Like I watched that documentary on the Flint, Michigan police, and Flint is a famously in need city, and they had I don't remember exactly, but for a neighborhood that was like the size of like West Hollywood. They
Right.
had one night cop. That's it.
One night cop.
One
in
night
Flint?
cop. They had to send one
Jesus.
woman out alone every night, and she had to take every call for that neighborhood. And it was not a good neighborhood, so they got a lot of calls. Like, I can't remember the name of the documentary, and I don't want to plug documentaries. Like, I don't want that to be my brand now. But
Alex Caine, he knows all the documentaries.
I know all of the documentaries. I know a bunch of like YouTube documentaries about
I do
Jews
love-
taking down the World Trade Center.
I know a 100-part series about how the Jews definitely did 9/11.
They definitely did.
150% they did it.
122%. I'm not as confident as him, but I'm still overconfident.
What a Jewy thing to say.
Yeah. This is why I should gamble.
By the way, my sister-in-law, my older brother, married a Jew. So my nephew is half of the Jew.
Oh,
no, he's accepted by the church because his mom's Jewish.
Oh,
so
good.
My nephew's a Jew.
What you're saying is like you have a black friend, so therefore you can say bad words now.
It's true. No, I mean, my whole point is
You
like,
about to drop
I
kike
literally
on this?
never
Like,
tell
what's
anyone
going
that. Like I see so many people get on stage too and talk about how they have a black friend and stuff like that.
God.
And so it's the point where I always talk about my friend Zach, but I never address the fact that he's a black man. I refuse to say it on stage or even acknowledge that it's a fact. Because it's just like, why?
If it's not important to the joke, yeah, what's the point?
Exactly, yeah. Like that's such virtue signaling bullshit if you even bring that up. Like,
this is two white guys on a podcast.
Yeah,
why are we talking about this?
I don't know. I just think it's so funny, and I see it so often out here too. Like, I like the comics, or the female comics that'll talk about dating black guys, even though they never really do.
Oh God,
because they just want to let. I'm fine with
that.
you.
Yeah.
I'm fine. It's like, what? Just don't say anything,
it's
man.
the same
Jesus.
as the white guys who go up and they're like, I like black girls and have never slept with anyone ever.
Yeah.
You know.
And then you got your guys. I'll call them out by name. Goddammit. Brock Walters, who exclusively has sex with not white women.
Yeah.
Exclusively, and he
Brock's
never
thing.
addresses it. Like that, there's so many. Like
He also used to sleep with like other people's wives. Like,
oh my
for
God, he
money
told me
and
about
shit.
that.
Yeah.
Oh man, it was,
maybe not for money. I don't know. It's
no,
his
it was.
story.
It was a Craigslist thing that he said he did for a long time. That's one of the best. Oh man,
So funny.
I've got it's a secondhand Craigslist story,
All right.
but it happened to a friend of mine who he loved him some Craigslist hookups, man. Like he would anything and everything, right? And so he fucking gets this message of this guy or no, this woman who's a nurse who she wants the guy to come over and have sex with her and her boyfriend, right?
Okay.
It's very reminiscent of that Cole Alexander joke where he talks about taking a dick pic at Flappers.
You
know another one?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, like, so okay, the guy gets there, and the dude sitting in a robe on a fucking couch, right? He's just like, hey, she's not off work yet, but she wants us ready for when she gets here.
She wants us to be ready.
Yeah. So they get naked, and they're sitting on the couch, and they're watching porn, and they're just going down to Spanktown, right? Because like
this is already something I would never even
right.
consider.
I know. The moment I get there and there's no girl, I'm outie. I'm like,
the moment she's
"You're
like
out."
with me and my boyfriend, I'd be like, the moment it's on Craigslist, I'm not doing it. I don't know why I went
right.
that
Like
far.
even if you're going down to Freaky Town, like she's coming home from work. So okay, this is what happens. They're sitting on this love seat, right?
Oh, they're on okay.
Yeah, so
okay.
they're close proximity.
They're next to each other.
Okay.
I was imagining this at opposite ends of the couch, and I thought that was a hilarious image.
I know, but this was they were as close as we are,
Oh,
and they're going to town, right? And then like
My hands are up.
the dude I know. Can I? I wanted to see what it looked like. Okay. As soon as the dude is about to finish, right? Like the guy, the guy sees that my friend is like about to finish, and when he does, the dude leaps up like a ninja and grabs a hold of his balls and makes direct eye contact with him as he finishes, and then and then the guy finishes himself way too close to him, and then says, "You can leave if you want." There was no girl.
Oh, God.
He just wanted to grab a hold of a man's junk when he ejaculated.
How did you figure out that's how you get off?
Isn't that interesting?
That's like a lot of trial and error.
I know. Like
God, I don't even want to make eye contact with you now. Like, no offense.
let alone
as you're finishing.
I guess and see, that's a combination of a lot of things. I feel it's like he wants to see terror because he's doing it as a surprise.
Oh, God.
So he wants to see fear. Then he wants to hold the balls.
It is the ultimate power move.
That is a hell of a power move.
Yeah,
You're literally grabbing life by the balls. Right
he owns you in those.
Yeah,
forever now.
What do you do?
Your friend now belongs to that man. I believe
he's claimed him like some sort of tribalistic
property. Stuck his flag in his dick.
And I also like just how he says he's very nonchalant, put his robe back on, and walked to another room.
You can leave now.
Like you can leave now. It's like, cool. I mean,
what are Craigslist hookups doing now? Is there like a place
they don't exist
for them?
anymore.
I know, but like they didn't go away. Like that's how they got their kicks. They gotta have found a way to. There has to be like a, I don't know, like a Reddit site for this or some shit.
Oh, there's gotta be
like
too.
a 4chan thing.
There's probably a lot of weird hookup shit on Reddit too. I'd imagine. Like there's everything on Reddit.
Yeah, there is everything on Reddit. I haven't been on Reddit in a while now. I used to do it a lot. I used to be all about Reddit.
You can go down some fucking rabbit holes of justice.
You can go down some fucking rabbit holes of hate too. Like that is a weird place. Like
it is too, and it welcomes all comers. You know what I mean?
I think it's because it's made for 14 to 18-year-olds.
That's true. I fucking hate. I'm not a big 4chan fan anymore, especially like knowing the origins of 4chan and how it's become a full blown fucking white supremacist site.
That was a site I was really into freshman year of high school, and the fact that it's like still around like baffles me because like at that time I was like, this is a fucked up place. And
it is really weird.
I was in Dallas at that time, like not.
I didn't even know that the birth of Anonymous came from 4chan.
Yeah, and Snakes on a Plane, the movie.
Really?
Yeah, that was like a 4chan joke. They were like, I want Samuel L. Jackson to be on a plane with snakes, and some Hollywood dude was like, okay.
I had no idea that.
Yeah, and they like rewrote the script because somebody else was like, and he has to say, I'm tired of these motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking plane. Which is
that movie had like millions and millions of dollars in the budget.
Oh my God, it was a high budget budget. I said like nothing in that sentence. But
I was just going to go with it.
Yeah, keep going. But yeah, that's where that came from. And like some other shit. I think like Slender Man came out of that, and that's a movie.
I think so for sure. Yeah, and that was like a weird little video game, right? I never actually played it.
Know.
Like I
know the kid that I nanny is terrified of Slender Man, and I'm like, that's pathetic.
It's a super Gen Z thing. Yeah. Like I don't think millennials ever fucked with Slender Man. I think that's like the kids that are in high school now.
Oh yeah, the kids that are in college now, even.
Oh right.
Yeah, millennials are done.
It's true. What the cutoff's 95, right?
Something like that.
Damn. So that's
like
that's
I
really
snuck
sad.
into the millennials. Like I'm barely a millennial.
What? How old are you?
I'm 26. I'm 92.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm a 90. I'm a dead center.
Yeah. Yeah. That's where my sister's at. That's.
Oh, you got a sister, huh?
That was creepy.
I know.
I do. She's gorgeous.
Really?
Yeah, I'm the least good-looking person in my family, and I'm pretty good-looking.
You are. I think you know what's sad in my distorted view on what's good-looking anymore because of this city.
Okay. Yeah, this city has fucked up my like threshold for what's pretty.
I'll have people even tell me that they think that I'm handsome out here, and I'm like, "Are you sure?" Because I don't believe it. Not anymore. Like I see people that are crazy good-looking out here to the point where it warps your brain and you don't understand.
Oh no! Like that's why one reason I can't stand doing more than one like app because dating app because it'll be like, well, I went through all the Bumble girls and they're too pretty to ever see, and now I'm on OkCupid and like guess I'm at the bus stop now. And then there's like 7 models and like one of them matches with me and speaks only Portuguese. You know, like that's.
Oh yeah, I had a girl that only spoke Spanish match with me on Tinder the other day, and I said that I've been using Google Translate to try to speak with her, and I know I'm not doing well.
I had an Uber driver, which it capped off one of the strangest nights of my life. But I had an Uber driver who picked me up, and it was supposed to be a man in like a Corolla, and it was a woman in a minivan. And I was like, I don't think you're my Uber driver. And she went, see, Uber. And she showed me the phone with my face on it. And I was like, okay, either I'm dying or I'm going home. But it was like 3 a.m. and my phone was on 1% battery. So I had literally like.
You just had to get in, dude.
And I was not home. I was in Brentwood.
Oh fuck! What were you doing in Brentwood?
Okay, so
yeah, you said this capped off the night. So start from the beginning.
The beginning of the night, I had been seeing a girl for a while, and over text, she sent me this super long, like, hey, you're the greatest person I've ever met. I think we're the best of friends, but I don't want to date you.
Yeah, one of those.
Yeah, it was one of, and like,
those.
I did not handle it well. I had a car accident like 2 days before that.
Oh,
like,
damn.
And I super regret being mad at her for breaking up with me because we were not together very long.
Oh, damn. Okay.
It was like a month, if that. And like, I didn't do anything, obviously. I just sent like, hey, fuck off. And I shouldn't have said that. You know what I mean? Yeah. So if you're watching, Hannah, somehow, I don't know, why? Go to bed. But you're a lawyer. Do better. Okay. But so, yeah, so that happened. And then literally later in the night, I'm on like OkCupid, just swiping through people. And this girl who's cute, like, messages me just blatantly being like, do you want to have sex tonight? And I was like, who are you? Like, what is happening? And she was like, here, I'll call you. Give me your number. And I was like, I don't know if I'm cool with that. And she's like, just, And I was like, okay. Because, like, I wasn't actually not cool with that. And I sent her my number.
Cool, dude.
We FaceTimed for a minute. And she's like, look, I just got out of a bad relationship. I want to prove to myself sex isn't a big deal. And I was like, okay.
Interesting.
Okay. So I went out. I bought condoms because I didn't have any. I went to her house, which was the most amazing Brentwood apartment ever. It was unbelievable. Like, this girl not only came from money, but like somehow made her own by the age of like 24. Like, like was in Bitcoin or something. I don't know, but
it's loaded, right?
She had like a 3-bedroom apartment to herself.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's fucking mad.
There are a lot of these that's
like fucking $3,500.
No, more than that.
No shit.
More than that easily. This was a multi-million-dollar apartment.
No fucking
Not even close to like, and like there was a doorman and like he wasn't there when I got there because by the time I got there it was like 11. But anyway, so I got there and she was like super nervous and like adorable and it was so weird. And she gave me orange juice. And I took a drink from it. And I'm like, oh, this is mostly tequila. And she's like, oh, that's mine. And I was like, it's too late. Like, I'm drinking this. So we had some drinks. We talked. And then we just, this is very much not on brand for me, but we just went at it for hours.
Damn.
And then we left. And she told me to never call her again. But it was great. And I was like, I don't know how to read this, but I'm going to call you again. I texted her later. She never responded. Like, it was a text like, hey, I had fun. If you want to meet up ever again, like, I'd be down. But she didn't. She just wanted the one night, and God bless her. And like,
do you think she'd never had a one-night stand before?
I don't know what it was. I kind of think she cheated on someone. Like, in the back of my mind, that was
like always, she just had to get it out of the way or something like that.
Yeah, she was like, or like she needed to remind herself she was still pretty. I have no idea. Because she was really pretty and she was really sweet. And
that's so interesting. I mean, we all go through weird shit.
Yeah, we all have a day where we need affection.
Yeah, we need something. And like, for whatever particular reason, she was what you needed in that particular day.
Yeah, and like, it was this weird godsend because it really mellowed. Like, it was one of those like weeks where everything bad happened to me in 1 week. And then that ended it. And then I almost got kidnapped by the lady who didn't speak English in the Uber. Yeah. So at the end, I went down.
That speaks no English, picks you up in Brentwood.
Yeah. She picks me up outside of this gorgeous apartment building at like 3 a.m. I didn't.
Oh, shit. I didn't even put the pieces together. The potential that, like, she could have just been nabbing someone she thinks is rich.
Yeah. No, I could have. She would have fucked up. Like, my parents would have been like, we'll try, but he's yours now.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like, she didn't speak any English, and I have 2% battery on my phone, and we're talking, kind of, because I know so little Spanish. She knows so little English.
Damn.
But we figured out I was a comedian, and she started trying to ask me questions about comedy, and then my Google Translate device died.
Like, oh, shit.
Not device, phone.
Oh, yeah.
But then that died, so then I don't know what's happening, but she's still talking to me, laughing, talking, laughing, talking, laughing, and I'm just like,
so just speaking Spanish at you, essentially.
Yeah, she's just quickly. And then we're at my house.
And so it worked out.
Me. Yeah.
That's interesting. Because I wonder if like maybe she was lying about what car she had because Uber you have to have a particular car and a particular year, but maybe she only had that minivan.
I think it might have been one of those things where like 3 people use the Uber account, so they're driving 24 hours a day.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, because that's a thing families will do to like rack up a little extra money. So she's like the mother of 4 kids, and like her oldest son and her husband also take a turn doing Uber.
Man, when I hear some crazy stories about particular immigrants doing particular things to make money and make ends meet out here, like crazy stories about Nigerian immigrants and stuff that will like live in these little shops and whatnot.
Yeah, I've heard things
sleep
like
behind the counter and then wake up and then they never leave there.
Mm-hmm. Well, when I went down to San Diego last, I had to get an Airbnb because my cousin who lives there has a baby and I wasn't going to get home till midnight, so I had nowhere to stay. And I got an Airbnb that was also a day spa, like one of those ones like that are between like 2 sandwich stores. You know what I mean?
Oh,
like,
right.
It just says spa above it, and like they took me upstairs and I thought I was sleeping on one of the massage tables, but then they had little like apartments, and like the lady who was there who let me in was there the whole time. She just lived in that spa. She slept on in one of the apartments if no one booked it out, but on one of the massage tables if someone did book it out.
Wow.
And like it's how she had a job and had a place to live.
That's pretty incredible.
Yeah, and I mean it makes sense.
I always wanted to deal with some of those places you see that just say spa or whatever. I assume most of that they're rub and tug joints.
A lot of them can be.
I imagine.
I've never been. My roommate, not my current roommate. I should clarify that very much because Ian is a comedian and not somebody I want to put under the.
Wait, who's your roommate now?
Ian Ager. I don't know if you
know.
Oh,
yeah. Oh, I thought you meant your roommate was Ian Rizzo.
No, I think he's watching though. Hey, Ian.
Ian watches from time to time.
All right,
he's coined the rooster run.
Rooster run. Okay, I don't know what that means. Anyways, but my old roommate, he went to one that's not far from here. Like,
really?
It's at...
There's a lot of them around here.
Like not Lancashire. Laurel Canyon and Magnolia, there's one that he went to. Yeah. And he'd go pretty regularly, even though he had a girlfriend. He was a piece of shit.
It was for sure a jerk joint, then.
It was specifically a jerk joint.
No shit. Like they barely know even real massages.
Yeah, he went in and he was like, the massage was nothing. And like, I wasn't sure if it was the first time. He was like, I wasn't sure, and I just knew what to ask. And I was like, I don't even want to know what to ask. Like, I just feel like that's a weird.
I feel like it's good information to have. I don't know. Like, I don't see the appeal of a hand job.
There's no hand job that I'm ever going to want to pay for.
Yeah, like, well, for sure. I can give myself the best hand job.
Yeah, I can do it in like 30 seconds. I don't need this lady to take 5 minutes out of my day, you know? That made me sound sad. 5 minutes and 30 seconds. That's
I really did. But it's the money is ridiculous. Like, it's got to cost at least like $50-$60, right?
I think it was like $100 for him.
$100 to get jerked off? Fuck you.
Yeah.
That's too much.
Yeah,
it's too much.
It was. Like, my roommate was a fun guy. I liked him, but I was always like, why would you do that? Like, I just can't get behind that. Like, I don't.
Yeah.
I understand going to a whorehouse. Like, it's not for me. But I understand that's what some people like,
and that's fair. And I always thought, like, if I ever was in another country where it's legal and stuff, like Amsterdam, I would probably do it.
I'd consider it, but I don't know if I'd ever be able to do like. I've never been presented with the opportunity. To be fair,
it's a different thing too. Well, I think about it all the time because I have some friends who will not be named who talk about getting hookers all the time.
Oh,
and they know the ins and outs. Like they love it. Like it's their thing to do. And I don't even know how or where to go to do such a thing.
Yeah, where do you do that in Los Angeles?
I don't know.
I know Backpage used to be a thing, but I'm pretty sure that's gone. And Craigslist is gone. We already talked about that.
That's true. I did get hammered one night, and I woke up with an escort's number in my phone.
Yeah, okay, good for you.
And a picture and stuff. Yeah, just the number. But I mean, she was also really expensive.
Oh, I
mean, was like,
but what's really expensive? Like, I don't even know.
For everything for a night, $600.
Okay, that sounds really expensive.
It's really expensive.
But I'd rather really expensive than really cheap.
To be fair, though, she was fucking gorgeous. Like, I mean, it's like I think she's $600 for like 2 hours for a night or something, or maybe even an hour. I don't know.
Wow.
But yeah, I mean, it was one of those things where she was a fucking LA 10, and you're just like, well, girl, good for you. If if she's making like fucking,
Yeah, no, I don't shame. The women need to make their money doing that. Like, fuck
Why
it.
the fuck not?
It's not any more shameful than doing comedy or anything that I've done for money.
If anything, comedy is far more shameful than prostitution.
Sure.
I mean, at least with prostitution, it's like, I've been born with a genetic gift. I'm beautiful.
And there's secrecy. You don't have to give them your real name. You don't have to tell them your innermost feelings to be funny.
Yeah. Oh, man. Like, we are such fucking sluts because it's like, dude, the things I say, like, if I was in any other profession, I would never tell anybody any of this fucking stuff. Like,
No.
I get on here and spout fucking, like, things I should be telling a priest. I'm not even Catholic. Like, I just say fucking way too truthful things that, like, no one should know. If anything, they're a hindrance to me ever getting laid. Like,
no, everything I do now is a hindrance to me getting laid again. Like, that's
like, losing weight is $600 isn't bad. Really, Biscuit? $600 isn't bad. I mean,
I don't know.
For an
Probably.
hour?
I don't want to. I feel like if you're only spending like $50, like, I mean, that's like 4 months of Netflix. You know what I mean? Like, it's not.
Well, and then there's like that one super famous prostitute that did that. I can't remember her name. She did that spread in Playboy. She was like,
that one spread.
She was a famous one who, like, she was outed as being like the go-to U.S. congressman, senator, prostitute. Like, she was gorgeous. She charged $5,000 a night.
God damn.
Which is holy shit.
There, you're also paying for like
a girl in Vegas could be $3,000 for a night.
That's because it's legal in Vegas, man. There's taxes on that shit.
That is a good point. Yeah.
Well, I don't know if that's true. I bet it's taxed though.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, anything the government get their hands in, they will. $3,000.
I don't have $3,000.
How good looking was she, Chris? That's what I want to know. Like, was she like someone you'd be like,
how drunk were you when she made the proposal? Because I feel like if you were drunk enough and I was a savvy businesswoman like she may have been, I would just fucking ballpark you so high on that.
You know what? I think the most money I've ever had in my possession at one point in time was probably only $5,000. So the idea of spending fucking
3,000. Like, I've had more than that, but like,
well, you're Jewish.
I'm Jewish. Yeah, I'm Jewish, and my family's doing fine.
And you seem smarter than me when it comes to a lot of things, let alone money.
I did used to be. She was a 10. I thought it just said she was 10, and I was like, you should leave.
Yeah, you should. That is, you need to leave. I'm blocking you, Chris. Jesus. I'm sure she was. I'm sure she was just the best looking woman you've probably ever seen. That's the thing about like a lot of escorts out here and stuff. It's like the girls who are the best looking you've ever seen. Like, all of them are fucking gorgeous. You can't really not be, I guess.
I guess you would, like, here in Las Vegas, like,
it's not legal in Las Vegas?
Prostitution is legal. I guess you have to go outside of city limits. I don't know.
Oh, really?
That's what he's saying, I guess.
I don't know. Honestly, I've never spent a whole lot of time in Vegas. I don't know much.
Yeah, we're talking about something neither of us have really ever done.
Yeah, right now we're consulting the internet and about prostitution.
Yeah, this is a great way to spend my time.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to delve a little deeper into you losing weight and stuff like that. Right. We'll talk about prostitutes a little bit. I love to talk about weight loss in this podcast just because it's been such an incredibly large part of my life.
I mean, you've lost so much weight since I first met you.
That is true. I got all the way up to...
You've lost another person worth of weight.
That's true.
I feel like, yeah.
Well, let's see. I got up to 296. Now I'm down to 235. So, I mean, I've lost a great deal.
60-something pounds. That's fucking hard.
Yeah, and it fucking sucks. And what sucks is I don't even feel like I've accomplished that much because of how much weight I've lost before. And also, actually, I may be lower than 235 now. I haven't weighed myself in a while. Beside the point, what have you been doing for your weight loss?
See, that's the problem with the amount of weight that I lost as quickly. I have no idea what I did right. Like,
really?
Yeah, there's like, I do Weight Watchers. I'm a big fan of.
Oh, okay. I've never even tried Weight Watchers, honestly.
Well, I like it because it makes eating a game almost. Like, the whole point is to, like, every piece of food is a certain number of points, and you're allowed to eat X number of points in a day.
Right.
And I even cheat on that because coffee with cream and sugar is points, but I work out of cafes very often. So, like, if I'm gonna write it off on my taxes, I'm writing it off on my diet. Like that's
right.
That's my solid joke about it. But it's solid. But yeah, so I've been dieting with Weight Watchers, and that's helped so much. Like because it's portion control, it's calorie control. Because portion control is my real problem.
Yeah, I totally feel you there. Like I have a lot of issues with not eating the whole pizza. You know?
That's my biggest problem with food. Like I was raised to clean my plate, and I'm always going to clean my plate. And it's
I got. Also, I wanted to clarify something real quick. I apologize for cutting you off. Last podcast I talked about how I think it's detrimental to the health of your child if you if you have a fat kid, it's your fault. And essentially, I said stuff like that. I mean, more or less now for modern parents with everything we know. Because it's like our generation, we grew up with a fucking food pyramid. Which turned out to be detrimental to your health
by so much. 8 servings of carbs a day,
dude. Yeah,
holy shit! Like whatever you call a serving. No,
we grew up with an insane amount of ignorance when it came to health. So our parents and then us growing up didn't know a fucking thing. So it's like I specifically want to apologize to my dad. It's like I really totally didn't mean you. Like it is because it's like my parents were heavy. And so, like, they just ate how they ate, and they did a lot of crash diets and stuff like that, which everyone said would fucking work, and everyone said would be beneficial and stuff like that. And really, honest to God, none of us ended up losing any weight or not putting on weight until Atkins came around, and then that got so close to being ketogenic and them understanding that process that's what we know now.
Atkins was like a step in a good direction, kind of, but like
it was still wrong.
To me, all fad diets are incorrect because it's just that there's no good way to do this.
Yes.
You can eat keto, you can live keto, but it's the lifestyle that gets you not fat, not just like the diet part. And that's the biggest part because it's changing everything. Like I try to, but when I was losing the weight as quickly as I was going to the gym every day.
Right.
And I was not only going to the gym, I was doing yoga and lifting weights. I'm still trying to do all three, but
well, that's another thing too when it comes to yeah, exactly. And also I ran into a problem of overtraining, which is like you get to the point where you're just lethargic all the fucking time because you can actually overstress your body and your endocrine system, and then you're producing too much adrenaline because every time you work out, it forces your endocrine system or your adrenal glands to overstress, and sometimes you can get that dazed, worked out look. Like, that's actually a big problem with overtraining, and then it's like especially if you're on a caloric deficit all the time, your body's not healing.
Yeah, your body's not used to. That's the other thing. People do it quickly, and like. That's why I'm so terrified about how much weight I lost. Because first off, it is totally unhealthy to lose 50 pounds. And I think it was 5 weeks, 4.5 weeks.
That is a lot. Yeah.
No, it wasn't supposed to happen.
I'm worried you have a tapeworm or cancer.
No, I am terrified, like a little bit. But also like, I'm skinny right now. I can.
That is great. And like, and I don't think you've necessarily plateaued, but you don't look like you're fucking dying right now.
I've plateaued a little bit, but plateauing from where I was isn't fair because now it's like I lost 1 pound last week. That's good.
That's still good.
Normally, but I'm like, I lost 10 the week before. What's wrong with me?
Well, then you got to let your skin catch up too, because it's like that's been my biggest thing. I've intentionally plateaued the last month almost because I already have skin issues as it is. I just don't want to make them worse and worse and worse.
I haven't had the skin issue. I've become, well, like losing the weight as quickly and mixing as much adrenaline as I've been putting into myself from working out that I don't normally do. I've been very angry and on edge a lot for me, which is a new experience.
That's fair.
I don't like being angry.
And do you think that has something to do with your calorie intake now, or what?
No, I think it's the adrenaline mixed with I have naturally very low testosterone.
Really?
I've done some jokes about it. My testosterone should be in the thousands.
Yeah, it should be anywhere between like, especially you're 26.
Yeah,
it should be 8 to 1,000.
Yeah, somewhere in that range. My testosterone rate was last time they did the thing was like at 420, which is
it's so appropriate for how much weed hilarious. You smoke.
Yeah, but like super not good for my maturity.
Yes, that's true. Like if you're your 500 is and under is really really low. Like it's not even enough really to.
It's not dangerously low or anything.
No, it's just it's I don't know. It's cuck like.
It makes me very meek and like bad with the joke I wrote about it and tried and it didn't work that well. But I was like, you have a fight or flight. I have a cry in the corner. Like. That's all I'll do. Like I can't stand confrontation very well, and it's a mix of never being able to handle it when I was a kid, and also just naturally my flight is higher than my fight instincts.
That's true, and the more testosterone you have, a lot of times it's the more adrenaline you can produce, and then when you do that, that's how you get your fight.
Yeah, I have low adrenaline, so I'm lethargic often. Yeah. Like it's that kind of stuff.
Do you have B12 issues too?
Not diagnosed, but possibly. You know what I mean? Like they've never said anything, but I take vitamins and shit. I'm very
okay.
I take fish oil pills and because I have
that's good for you too when you're losing weight. Yeah.
I have very high triglycerides, and like a doctor told me that once I had the highest triglycerides he had ever seen, except on an obese 50-year-old man, and I was 25.
What the fuck is your triglyceride count?
I don't know anymore. Like I don't remember offhand.
Because it's that means you're. So are you diabetic or you?
Nope, nothing.
Wow.
I own to a point don't believe the doctor, but also why would a doctor say it to me? You know.
That's very true. Did you do the test fasted?
Yeah, I had fasted before I went to the doctor. This doctor was a little bit shady. Like it was a whole thing with this doctor because they charged me extra appointments.
Interesting.
They did not tell me that their lab, like their blood lab, was not part of them and that they took different insurances. They just literally signed me up and put me through without ever even letting me know I was going in through a different program.
Oh, okay. So you probably need to go through.
Yeah. No,
different doctor.
And I went to my Kaiser doctor, but my Kaiser doctor is so I have a hernia and a bunch of other
I'm
stuff.
glad you're talking about this. I wanted to ask you about that as well. Like, please tell everyone what your doctor said about your hernia.
So my hernia came from a lump that I found on my testicle, and I was terrified. And my doctor was like, "Oh no, we need to get this scanned ASAP." And then we got it scanned, and they made me lie down, which will come into play later. And I lied down, and they scanned it, and then they never called me back for like weeks. And by the time I finally got in contact with them, they were like, "Oh yeah, your doctor no longer works here."
Didn't you say he got fucking fired?
She got fired.
How did?
Because she wasn't filling out charts. So I literally just had a blank chart in their system is basically all it was.
Holy shit.
So by the time I got a new doctor and like not having to pay to go see a doctor a second time, because I was like, I'm not paying for a doctor who got fired.
Right.
But by that time I got the second doctor, they had no idea why I was there. And I had to go through the whole thing with them. And they gave me the hernia check and they did all this stupid shit. And then they were like, have you, so we'll sign you up for a CT scan. And I was like, no, I already did that. And they were like, what? And then I was there for another 30 minutes before they got the ultrasound. And she's looking at the ultrasound for the first time, not CT scan. That was later. She's looking at this ultrasound for the first time. She's like, nothing's there. Here's some like infection pills. No. And so I was on placebo infection pills because they were like, oh, this pain's not real that he's feeling. And I was in a lot of pain. Yeah. You saw me around this time. I was in a lot of pain.
Yeah, because you ended up having
a hernia. I kept talking to this doctor, and finally she sent me to a urologist who like screamed at me because I wasn't supposed to see a urologist for a hernia. And I was like, I have a hernia? Like, that's what this is?
Yeah.
And he was like, probably. Let's go see a surgeon because that's who you go see for a hernia.
Yeah. So
I had to make an appointment literally a month later to go see the surgeon. The surgeon took the CAT scan and the ultrasound or whatever it was. He was like, did they make you lie down when you had your ultrasound? I was like, yeah. And he's like, well, they shouldn't have done that because hernias recede. And I was like, I learned that from an episode of House once. And I was like, oh God, I know more than my doctor. Like horrifying.
God, that's a lot of fucking like malpractice in a row. It sounds like a lot of really dumb
shit. And they put that it was like a neurotic pain or whatever the right term is. Neurological pain, not a real pain. And by the time the doctor's looking at the CAT scan, he's like, it's just a little guy. We could fix it, or we could wait for it to tear more because that's easier.
Every time you say tear more.
Yeah, that's how he phrased it to me.
It hurts my balls.
It hurts because it's like right here. You guys can't. So maybe you can see it on the camera. It's a delayed.
It's by its dick.
Boom, like right. You can't see it. I don't know what I'm doing. So it hurts to touch it. It hurts to... The act of sitting down hurts. The act of standing up.
Has it torn anymore?
I don't know. I haven't been back because I don't trust that doctor.
Well,
I'm getting off Kaiser
hoopla,
as soon as I can to get onto any other health insurance and pick my own goddamn
I've never went to a doctor out here. I probably need to for a great deal of things. But I've heard a lot of people, especially comics, talk shit about Kaiser doctors. Like, is that a common thing? Like,
It's unfair because they are people, and basically what Kaiser is you're forced to see as many patients in a day as possible. So your job is to crank them out. So they don't they don't employ their doctors to have any people skills or care about their patients. They employ their doctors to check and make sure you're not dying and send you on your way. That's what Kaiser is for. So if you don't have a major issue, they're fine. But when you start having a major issue, a lot of the time pain will just be a neurological pain because 90% of pain is.
That's a fair point, yeah.
Yeah, like
a lot of pain is in your head, a lot of pain is in your mind. Most of the
time people go to the doctor, it's for nothing because most people who go to the doctor are not in need of a doctor. People who don't go to the doctor are the ones in need of a doctor.
That's very true. The old walk it off kind of. I spent so much time when I was younger in hospitals and going to doctors and stuff like that from all the conditions that I had growing up. That like, honest to God, I probably really need to go to the doctor. Like I just can't. I hate it so much, and also because it's an unpleasant experience. Like most doctors. Like especially as an adult, like I had a really decent experience with children's doctors.
Pediatricians are normally
really sweet, and they're like caring, and they want you to feel like, dude. But the moment you fucking get into your 20s and you try to go to the doctor,
it becomes such a nightmare.
Dude, they fucking don't give a shit about you, man.
No, it's a business. That's the thing. It's a business, which is sad and fucking weird really to me. Sad. But it is a business, and that's what we signed up for by living here. Like. Yeah. To get rid of that, we have to give up whatever we want here and go somewhere else.
Then, and because of all the people, I imagine doctors care about life just a little fucking less out here.
Yeah, and I mean, in a big city, it's like a double-edged sword because in a big city, there's more doctors, but in a small city, there's less doctors, but they might be more compassionate in the in the Kaisers of smaller areas. Yeah.
Kaisers of Los Angeles, I imagine, are fucking wrought with just mental illness and fucking...
Oh, so much.
And there's so many neurotic-ass people out here who have nothing wrong with them.
But they just have money.
Yeah, and they just go to the doctor all the time. What's the term?
Hypochondriac.
Hypochondriac.
Oh, yeah.
I do. There's been some people that come here that I know for a fact are hypochondriacs.
Oh, I have a little bit of it myself. Definitely. Yeah. Well, part of it is because I have a bad shoulder that no one ever caught because of me.
Oh, yeah. Tell them about that, too, because that's so crazy to me.
So I have what's called a wing scapula, which means my shoulder blades are supposed to look like this. My left one looks like that.
That's madness.
So like this is the more natural motion for my above the mic, but that's the more natural motion for my shoulder to make because I broke it. We think when I was younger playing football, and I didn't tell anyone because there was a mix of walk it off culture and everyone. I broke my hand at the same time. And everyone made fun of me so much for crying.
Jesus. And what school? Where were you going to school?
It was in Dallas at the time.
Fucking Texas, man.
Yeah, Texas football.
Christ.
Like this was the other thing.
Yeah,
like,
Texas football.
They made me play injured at the time. It's a whole thing. So I don't want to get into that part though. So I broke my hand, and they treated that, but I didn't tell them my shoulder was also hurting. And by the time someone looked at it, it was the first time a doctor yelled at me, which should have been the only time.
Right.
But he was like, we could have fixed this. Like, this would have been easy. You broke your shoulder. Your muscle has some damage. Everything grew in wrong. Wow. It's
so they pretty much say it's unfixable now?
No, it's just very expensive. They have to break it and rebuild the whole thing. The reason we didn't do it when I was younger is because the recovery time is at least a year.
Oh, wow. So you'd be all slinged up and shit.
So I'd be all slinged up, and I wouldn't have been able to go to college when I wanted to.
Okay, gotcha.
Which, in hindsight, I wish I took a year between so I could figure out what I actually wanted to do.
Right, like a gap year where you have your shoulder broken.
But my parents didn't want that, and I didn't want that at the time, and they were paying for the school, and I wasn't going to argue it. You know what I mean?
That's a good point. I took a gap year, but I ended up just going to community college for theater anyway.
I love where I went to college. University of Missouri was great, but I wish I did not go to the University of Missouri because that place is expensive as fuck for a degree that I am not using.
Damn.
Like, I was lucky I got a good scholarship. And
what did you get a degree in, by the way? I'm sorry.
Journalism.
Journalism? No shit.
Journalism
that makes sense,
with an emphasis in public relations advertising.
Oh, cool.
Social
I feel like that's
stuff.
just beneficial mentally, all the things that you've learned, especially for comedy and promoting and stuff.
It ties in, but the social media aspect I learned in school is not how social media works because there is no real way to... Basically, they were teaching something they didn't know yet. Because when I was in school, it was such a new thing still. They were just like, this is obviously the way of the future. Everyone needs to learn it. And like I did social media professionally for companies, which sounds cool, but it really just meant I was hiding dirty secrets for companies.
Okay.
Like that's all it was.
Internet scrubbing and stuff like that.
Yeah, stuff like that. It was
wow.
Social media is a toxic place. So it's weird that I have a degree in a place that I think is destroying the world. And like the state of journalism is a mess between
right now, the old Fourth Estate's in a lot of trouble, man. Like I feel like it's
between what happens on like the Fox Newses of the worlds and the blogs of the worlds. There's like 5 reliable news sources, and like 2 of them are not in English. So it's
like Al Jazeera.
Like Al Jazeera, BBC's fine, but like
maybe BBC is pretty corrupt. At least it's got
better than pretty much anywhere in the U.S.
I know.
Sad part.
I know because I've talked to a few British people about how corrupt the BBC is, and then they said we thought it was the most corrupt until we moved here, and then watched your like blatantly corrupt and biased news.
You watch Fox News as a relatively liberal person, and it's like reading Onion titles at this point.
It's pretty insane. It's
the same on CNN sometimes. Like it's like it's totally ingrained in us to just lie for ratings.
Oh yeah,
that's become what our news is, and there's like a few sources that are credible. But like when I was in PR, I know certain reputable newspapers that we paid off to not run things. Like,
yeah, man.
And not paid off as in like giving you a shady bribe under a table. We did it all legally. But like it's stuff
I know
that
there's legal ways to be shady nowadays.
You
don't need but like dudes with briefcases showing up in a fucking dark parking garage.
You don't need to meet in a parking garage anymore. You just need to meet on Washington Ave in like New York City. Like that's the way you get away with shit now. I don't even know if Washington Ave is right because we worked on Madison. But
fair enough.
I don't know if Washington is a place in New York.
I don't know. I don't know enough. I just know that it's all pretty fucking sad.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I really we'll wrap this up here. I really wanted everyone to be introduced to not just Alex Caine, but Alex Payne, everybody.
Yeah.
And
that sounded like I just vomited.
your war face really reflects your testosterone levels, buddy. I'm not gonna lie.
I want to. I'm glad there's a delay so I can see what it looks like now.
You do look like you threw up everywhere. We're watching the delay.
The next one. Oh god.
That one was not bad. That one's pretty good.
That looks like I'm playing guitar badly.
You're just shredding. There we go. Now we can watch you reacting to your initial war face.
Oh god.
Oh shit. God, all right, now we're just watching ourselves right now.
That's all I do most of the time. I just watch myself. Oh, there was this.
Yeah.
It was a good rock star face. I'll take that.
It was good. Well, I really liked your rock star face.
Thank you.
I dig it. But guys, I just wanted to tell this man's story. I really like this fucking guy. He's a very funny comic. Do you have anything you can plug or websites or anything like that?
I run an open mic at Flappers on Wednesdays at 10:30. It's a Flappers open mic in Burbank. I love it, kind of. I've got some shows coming up. Go to alexcainecomedy.com for all that jazz.
Ooh, my first comic with an actual fucking website.
Really?
Yeah, most
It was
people
very cheap.
I know. You need to hook me up with this website action, or at least tell me how to do it. That being said, guys, thank you so much for joining me with the After Hours Fourth Wall After Hours podcast. This is Alex Caine. I am, as always, Travis Clyburn. Have a great night, you guys. That's me. I can have to get on the other. We're not gone yet.